glad you're here to join us. Had some very interesting things happen to me last week. We'd gone to visit the little town of Avonlea in southwestern Saskatchewan, my family and I. And I had never been there before. I had been raised in Moose Jaw. And Avonlea is situated between Moose Jaw and Regina, but further to the south. So it's almost an hour's drive from Regina to Avonlea. And as I said, I never knew they had a little area of badlands in that area. When family was here, I wanted to show them this place and we could all go together. And I knew that if I went there, I was going to find something amazing. Now there's this little roadside museum in Avonlea, and we stopped there to ask about getting a tour of the Badlands. The tour guide was out for the time being, and so the young man that was taking care of the museum showed us around the place. Now there were several Indian artifacts that they'd had in this museum. This is going to be a little bit more interesting. This is a giant hammer. It's made of solid granite, and I could tell that there was a groove going all the way around it. But take a look at this. This is out of this world. So this is clearly granite. And so the young man was showing me this object. He told me that experts had told him that this was an Indian hammer. Can you tell me a little bit about this piece here?
See how the rivets are in there? You'd tie rope around it.
Okay.
And then it'd be kind of like a hammer.
Now you can tell by the video that this young man had a hard time trying to move and lift this object. And so from there, I introduced him to the subject of giantology. Where they deal with evidence of ancient giants. And I haven't seen anything like this anywhere on Google. And
yeah, I don't. This might be the first, or yeah, I personally don't know anything about it, but I know one of my bosses said it was for a rock.
Yeah.
Like a stone hammer, like what we're going to see in the other building. They were used for stone hammers, and I just...
For stone hammers?
Yeah.
Interesting.
They'd just, I don't know how they'd use it, but it's for a stump. Like.
Incredible. This is amazing. Indeed, if you go to places on Google, you'll find that there are legends of giants all over the world. And so the grooves, they go all the way around the other side. I believe that this stone that he had shown me is evidence that there were ancient giants in Saskatchewan near Avonlea. A lot of the major scientific institutions, they're afraid of dealing with this kind of evidence. And many times places like the Smithsonian, it's alleged that they have destroyed evidence of giants. As you can see on Steve Quayle's website and some other YouTube videos, that there are skulls and bones that have disappeared. Yet there are a lot of newspaper accounts saying that there were giants here. This young man had never heard of this before, and he believes that this stone hammer is probably the first evidence he's seen of ancient giants. It's very interesting. So I was blown away. God had led me directly to this artifact within 5 minutes of my stopping in Avonlea, right at that place. Then, when the tour guide came and got us, we ended up going on a little bit of a tour of the Badlands, and she had told me that just 2 days before, which was on a Saturday, and so it was just a couple days ago that they first
found, like a fellow who works at the RSM, whose job it is to study bones, said he found a part of a vertebrae bone that he thinks was from a small type of dinosaur, and believes it was from the Cretaceous period. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And so the information says that these formations are 65 million.
Yes.
And wow, that's very interesting.
And there is no what is that? KS?
No KT boundary.
No KT boundary here for some reason.
So it's an anomaly then.
Yep.
Very good.
Yeah.
The RSM stands for the Royal Saskatchewan Museum. Well, not 5 minutes after she told me this, I kind of zeroed in on my fossil radar and found some vertebrae sticking out of the stone matrix. I found some bone here.
Yeah. But that looks like vertebrae, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks like vertebrae for sure. So now we have the man from the RSM thing confirmed.
He wants to come out and do some looking around.
And if that's not enough, later on I got home at night and I was doing some research about the Avonlea area. Now this is from the Leader Post newspaper of October 30th, 1958, and this is reported that an excavation for a dugout turned up evidence of post-glacial plant and animal life. So Harold Longman wrote, perfectly preserved specimens of plant and animal life as it existed 12,000 years ago are this week being removed from a muddy pit near this Saskatchewan farming town. Archaeologists describe the find as one of great international importance. A 12-foot deep excavation on the farm of John Scrimbett, 15 miles southwest of here, originally intended for use as a water storage dugout, is yielding, get this, tree trunks, leaves, fern needles and cones, insects, invertebrates, skeletal parts of yet unidentified birds and animals, all in a perfect state of preservation. Many of the specimens, including grass and moss, have retained their natural color despite the long interment. Now this next statement I want you to pay attention to. None of the specimens is fossilized, but all appear as though they had been buried only recently. Now there's a reason for that, and that's because they were buried only recently. I don't put it back 12,000 years. I only put it to the time of the flood, which will say the earth is 6,000 plus a few years, and I'm being graceful on that. So, wow. So the discovery was made a week ago and is of great scientific significance, say officials of the Saskatchewan Museum of Natural History, for it affords them a glimpse of what North America was like in the relatively unknown time known as the immediate post-glacial period of at least 10,000 years ago. Only 2 minor finds relative to this period have ever been made on this continent, says Dr. Robert Nero, zoologist for the museum. It may give us a clue to the beginning of all forms of life as we now know it on this continent, says Dr. Nero, who visited the site Tuesday. It may tell us, he said, how the vegetation and other forms of life got here after the glacier wiped out the whole continent clean about 10,000 years ago.
And then you can see this different colored stuff here. That's just sediment.
Okay. That's just typical sediment that's in this area. Mm-hmm. It's almost like an ash, volcanic ash. Yeah.
Put a little less. So this, you
it's a
can kind of
demonstration of what bentonite does with water.
So this is just the sediment. You can see it doesn't absorb much. But now watch the bentonite. And it just keeps absorbing.
Oh, okay. Bentonite absorbs water.
And yeah, and it becomes like grease, whereas this is a little bit gritty. Well, that's got lots of stuff in it.
There's probably more organic-based stuff in there. Interesting.
Yeah. But very greasy.
How did the dinosaurs die? By the same way they're fossilized. The murder weapon surrounds them. It's the clay and the mud, the silt, and the volcanic ash they were buried in. That's the reason for the extinction. That's amazing. So we found a giant stone tool ignored by scientists in Avonlea, and we've got some fossil bones that are confirmed. And we noticed that when we're taking a look at Badlands, it's composed mainly of volcanic ash. There's types of clay, for example, bentonite. There's sandstone and ironstone, which shows that the layers of earth were not laid down gradually over thousands and millions of years, but it shows proof of rapid deposition of sediments. And this, my friends, is how fossils are formed.
Is that you?
No!
Okay. No, I haven't seen this book, but I know we saw he was in Prairie's North. He put an article in.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, and he put, that's what actually initiated the museum getting involved with
Thanks for stopping in today. And also, belated happy birthday to my friend Micah at Giantology. So hopefully, this presentation is going to blow you away. Like, I can't believe it. It's amazing, like, how God has let me find evidence such as these things. And I hope to find some more in the near future. So everyone else, please stop in again at Search of Scripture. And have a great day.